this. It's not bad, but the only problem with this is some of it is still three-dimensional, where in terms of these parts we really want it to stretch them out like this, and this, and this, and this, like this. We really want it to go around and stretch. Now you can see the thumb is still three-dimensional. We could have done with it kind of like this, so we can map some texture onto the thumb. But to get it like that, what we can do is select it, and we're going to use the pelt map. Now, pelt mapping, a few people are scared of this, a few people love it. I am either. I think it's nice. It's nice to watch, and you can get some really good results with it. On the flip side, you can get some very bad results with it. So I'm going to select my arm, and we're going to use pelt mapping. Now, pelt mapping was built into Max 8, I think. It might have been 7. I'm sure it was 8, but I'm not sure. Actually. Okay, so pelt mapping is going to give us this. I might just make this bigger. It's going to give us a nice ring, and these are the stretch springs that it uses. It gives us a ring, and connected to each vert is a little pull string. Imagine it as a string, you see. Now a pelt obviously is what they make animal rugs out of. So it's what it does is it pulls it out for you. And if we do start pelt just by default, you'll see it's pulled the whole thing out for you. Now if you think that's not bad and you can use that and that's what you want, then great, just press commit and go with it. But there is a relax tool, and we can use this just to relax the things, but some things like that, anomalies, will happen with relax. So it's important to go into the settings. So we'll just reset that, we'll do a pelt on it, and then we'll go into the relax settings. Now for something this smaller scale and this sensitive, I want to relax it by face angles, and I want to put the amount down to kind of 0.01. We'll set that as default actually, and we'll just do a start relax. Now there you can see it's doing it a lot smoother. Now if you do leave this on, it will continue to relax until you just press stop. So when it's not moving that much, just stop, and then we can commit, and there we've got a nice stretched out hand. Now I could have done that myself through the vertex mode just by pulling them out. This is just a tiny bit quicker and less hassle. So we've got one arm there. Now the problem with the arm is I want the seam to go down here and the thumb is up here. So if I got the other side of the arm and tried to weld it there, I'd have to weld the thumb to each other, which isn't going to be fun. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to take off the hand and I'm going to map this individually. So I'll just do a quick pelt map, and I'll just do a pelt map and relax. We'll just commit to that, and we're going to just chuck this over here. Now you can use all of this space, but your texture space is actually this square here. Okay, so I'm just going to chuck this over here and chuck this here. Now this is, you got to remember, this is the arm. Okay, and that's the hand for it. Okay, so I'm going to do the other side of the arm now, and as you can see, as I'm moving them around, the checkered pattern is getting smaller, and it's got smaller because of the scale. If I kind of scale this down, checkered pattern will get bigger. Scale it up. But it's good for see any stretching. If you want to just change the scale of any UVs, it's good to see the stretching on it. Okay, let's just... Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the back side of the arm. Now I'll select it with the hand as well, because it's just easier. Now if you go into your viewports and just load up the back, so you're dead on. We'll just do a select back like this. Now I'm not sure where I selected here, but I can educate guess. I'm losing all my bearings here. Okay, it's selected there. So we just want the back end of the arm just much like we did with the front. And we can tell where we've not selected because this is nicely mapped now and this isn't. I'm just gonna look at this line here. Yep, that's right. Just check the hand one last time. Sometimes I do select bits and miss bits out. Now you remember we mapped the thumb around, so we're just gonna leave that like it is. Okay, now that's ready to be mapped. Okay, again, you'll see it being selected in the map, but to select it through the map would be silly. So we're just going to do a quick planner map again on that, and we're going to have a kind of similar thing to what we had there. What we're going to do is we're going to do a pelt map on this. I'm going to start the pelt. Now, because we've got the default settings up, what we set before, it doesn't matter, so we'll just start to relax that. I'll just leave it for a second. And there we go, commit, and we've got another arm. Now it's all well and good, but I need the hand coming off. So now the only reason I do this, I'm mapping it with the hand on, is just because it's easier to select. It's far easier to just take the hand off while it's already been pelted. Just relax that. Okay. Now I'm using pelt mapping because, as I say, it's quick and it's quite nice, and you shouldn't be really scared of it. Just want to get those kind of the same size. Okay, so now we've got two arms. They're both the same scale and they're looking not bad. But if you see, take that off. If we see closely, we have got a definite seam here, as well as the green line shows us, but we can see the checkered. There's an interruption in the checkered pattern, and that's a seam, and that's because what you've got is, what you need to have is these verts on the UV map welded to these verts. So how we're going to do that is I'm just going to go into welding, which I know really scared me when I first started learning anything to do with this, but I'm just going to try and simplify it. Now when you go into your map, what you'll see if you select some stuff, you'll see blue lines appear on all the other maps like this, and this is just basically saying, because I've selected these faces, these end faces, it's showing me where they weld to, you know, the next parts of them on the geometry, and the same with this side. There we go. So what I need to do is I want the seam, I don't want a seam at the top half, I want the seam at the bottom. So if the bottom's not going to wear and weld, I'm going to weld the top. So if I go to edge mode and select that, then I can see that this edge welds onto this. So if I just select this, now just a quick thing, if you've got overlapping UVs like that, and it's hard to select them, you kind of at wit's end because you can't select them, what you can do is just select a bit of it, and there's a little plus and minus, and just keep pressing the plus, and that'll select the whole thing for you. It's a really helpful thing. Anyway, so I want to come over here and I want to rotate this like this and try and match it up as best I can. And this is what you want to do, just try and get the best you can there. So now when I select edge, that should correspond to that edge, that to that edge, and it's the same with the verts as well. I've just made this bigger so you can see. It's the same with the vertexes as well, just zoom in really a lot. If you go to vertex mode, you'll see if I select one vert, the other little vert goes blue. I don't know why I'm zooming in, they don't change size. So then you can just start the tedious task of welding these together. I like to centre them, but get a good centre of them both, and select them both when they're on top of each other and weld. There are shortcut keys for this. I'm not sure what they are. I usually use a plugin, or I use a program.